ahead again in the country, despite reforms to sanitize the oil and gas sector following reports of scarcity of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, in many parts of the country. Fuel queues began to resurface in cities like Lagos and Abuja, leaving many motorists wondering what could be wrong. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, blamed supply issues as responsible for the queues, urging customers to exercise patience. But despite a meeting between oil marketers and retail subsidiary of NNPCL regarding this issue, the fuel scarcity worsens, making the fuel outlets with petrol to hike their pump prices between 690 naira to 710 naira per litre in Abuja. BQ, we're back here again.
You know, a lot of issues in the oil sector are treated like cult-related issues. The way the NNPC has been run over the years, you cannot say there is transparency. There was no transparency in the quantity of fuel that we consumed on a given day. There was no transparency about subsidy, the kind of money being set aside as subsidy payments. So even now, what the NNPC is simply saying is, oh, this supply tightness that we are witnessing is based on logistic issues which have been resolved. Now, if you resolve those logistic issues, why do we still have fuel queues all over the place and even outlets, filling stations completely short? I was coming from Ibadan. Yesterday we attended the funeral of my friend's mother. My car was on quarter tank, and that particular car is very notorious for fuel consumption. I was worried. I knew that I had to get fuel. So I thought that along that Lagos-Ibadan corridor, that I'll be able to find at least one filling station where even if there was a queue, I would just drive in and wait for my turn to buy fuel. There was not one filling station selling fuel from Ibadan all the way to Lagos. When I got to somewhere, the boundary between Lagos and Ogun State, I saw a filling station where people gathered, but they were not selling. They were not selling. It was after I got into Lagos that I now got fuel. There is a big problem that the NNPC has to resolve with depot owners and independent marketers. They are saying that they are spending so much money by way of operational expenses that the NNPC is not addressing. I know a filling station owner, for example, who received consignment at 666 naira. So how much do you expect him to sell? At what rate do you expect him to sell? In my area, about 3 days ago, the only filling station that was selling fuel sold at 690 per litre. We are just making our people to suffer for nothing. How will inflation not worsen? Already in Abuja and Lagos, because of this fuel scarcity, transport costs went up. Transport costs are big enablers of inflation because people have to move from place to place. They have to try to make ends meet. They are not going to sit down in their homes. They have to move around, and transport costs have risen. So if you cannot address This problem, you are telling us that, oh, these are logistic issues that have been addressed. If they've been addressed, we have to see greater supply. We have to see filling stations open. Today, a few major marketers, yes. But we all know that independent marketers are far more than major marketers. In fact, in a lot of the communities outside Lagos, for example, there are very few major marketers. The whole landscape is dominated by independent marketers, Ipman. And a lot of them buy from depot owners and from even major marketers. So if major marketers don't have, you then don't expect that the independent marketers will have supply. So how do we address the fact? Because the NNPCL also said, no, we are not increasing fuel price. They said, no, we are not increasing fuel price. But we are seeing people who have already increased the pump price or PMS. Yes, which is, we know that subsidy is gone. We know that we have the quantum of petrol that we import has gone down almost by 50%. Because we said it in the past that a lot of this thing was shady. A lot of this whole subsidy thing was shady. But at the same time, we have to address the problem. Nigerians shouldn't pay more. The NNPC doesn't always show transparency or doesn't always tell Nigerians the truth. They will tell, we have so much supply. But there is suspicion that because the NNPC knows that by the middle of the year, for example, it may not need to import PMS anymore, because Dangote by June will have begun refining crude oil to give us PMS. Then, of course, the refinery in Port Harcourt too, and Warri, once they start working, we also will not need to import the products. Could this now have prompted the NNPC to reduce the quantity of imported petrol that they are bringing into the country, knowing that within 2 months, they will not need to import anymore? Have they kind of rolled back? Is that the reason for this scarcity? Because they will not tell you the truth. It's unfortunate. So, but people within the sector suspect that at this time, and it also makes sense, let's not kid ourselves that if you know that by June, Dangote will start refining crude to give us petrol, why would you want to bring in so much? Maybe that is why we are experiencing this tightness in supply. But you can't just dismiss what Nigerians are going through with English.
Need to know this.
Yes, but that is a sector where there is no transparency. They are not, they are the ones, they run that sector like a cult. You will not know what is going on. That is the thing. Remember when we had scarcity some years back, and Ibe Kachiku was saying, no, there is no decline in supply, this and that. And then the secretary of MOMAN, that's major marketers, during the public hearing said, come on, the document that I have here showed that from the month of so till today, supply has tapered down. Why are you telling Nigerians that there's enough petrol in the market, this and that? Supply has tapered down. If not for the moment, guys, Nigerians will not have, because they kept telling us there's enough in the market, we have enough to last more than 30 days, this, and the man said, come, you supply us. And we then said to Nigerians, from the month of so down to this, supply has tapered down. That means that what you are supplying had reduced drastically. So that was the reason for the scarcity. I think it was 2017. Serious scarcity that lasted months. But they were not telling us the truth. They spend money on subsidy. They will call it under recovery. They created all kinds of names to call subsidy. You are spending money on subsidy, money that was not even appropriated for subsidy. You will go and net it off from crude oil sales. You took it upon yourself to pay for subsidy. And you are lying that, no, it's not subsidy. The Ibe Kachuku and Co. were calling it under recovery, calling it all kinds of names. So, honestly, what is going on now, you cannot say with finality that this is what, because
what the issue is.
What they've told us is simply, supply issues, we're addressing the logistic issues. Nigerians, they will let Nigerians know the truth.
Adeoye, IQ has raised a very, very valid issue here, transparency on the part of NNPC.
I think that's absolutely the major problem that is confronting us. There's a problem of infrastructure, problem of distribution network channels, and then corruption. Boils down to corruption. Because at this level, we are not supposed to be experiencing fuel scarcity, something we have been crying about since the past 30 years. Christmas time, Easter, when they know people must travel, then you just see these artificial problems just because some people want to make extra money. This is an artificial problem created by a very strong cartel that feeds on the crisis in the oil sector. And they have the power to, to either unlock or lock the oil, economy the way they want, depending on their own interests. And that's why I think that when we are looking at all these things, the impact on commodities, price of commodities, for instance, if you are now buying for there's no official increase. But where there is scarcity, automatically it will lead to increase in certain areas. So if you are now buying 700, 710, and you are transporting tomatoes from Sokoto, and you are paying almost maybe 50% increase, in your fuel, automatically you are not going to sell the price of the tomatoes from the north. When you get to my 12, the price will change. So it's going to have a lot of chain impact on the economy. That's why we need to do something fast. And I think that in addressing this problem, we need to look at short-term solutions, medium-term solutions, and long-term solutions. For me, the long-term solution, we need to be thinking of building strategic oil reserves in some of the regions. For instance, for the whole of Southeast or the whole of Northwest, they should have a reserve that can take them for at least 3 to 5 months, so that in the period of scarcity, they can rely on this reserve before it gets out of hand. I know there are some oil depots all around. There's one in Nore and all, but a place like Lagos, for instance, with the huge economy, needs to have a strategic oil reserve. So that in case there is a major crisis, for the next 6 months, that there will be no break in the channel of distribution of fuel. So, and then when we are talking about the other long term, we need to fix our refineries. Egypt, for instance, has 12 refineries. The Nigerian population is far, far more than that of Egypt. South Africa has 6 refineries. So we cannot depend solely on Dangote refinery. We need to ensure that the one in Kaduna, the one in Warri, the one in Port Harcourt are fixed. And I'm happy that the good news is that we are getting fillers, that at least the one in Port Harcourt and Warri, will be fixed very soon. Because we cannot be producing oil and then be complaining of the same problem as if people are not thinking to find a solution to this problem. And I think we need to look at the monopoly of NNPC. Absolute power corrupts, absolutely. So we need to decentralize. Let each region be able to do some kind of marketing driven of fuel, not just leaving everybody, everything to, at the mercy of NNPC.
It's because of the dollar illiquidity that made marketers to back off. Because initially, in fact, they made a lot of issues out of bringing in petrol. I remember Tolu Ogunjobi did a story about one company that received a vessel loaded with PMS. But today, the moment we had that volatility in the forex markets, they all stopped.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, maybe you got money from a bank, for example, at 750 naira to $1. Suddenly, it went to 1,900. Nobody can deal with that situation. That was why they all withdrew. They encouraged them to come in. They came in early in this administration, but they withdrew once the naira hit the dollar hit the roof. They withdrew. Where are they going to find the money? You have, most times they go to black market, and the rate is killing.
Yes, very
So that's why NNPC has reverted to sole importation, as they became once again sole importer of PMS. And whatever they tell us, if they tell us they have supply to last 30 days,
We
will believe because we don't have the information. And they are happy to deceive Nigerians.